She told me, "Come to my place tonight. I've planned a surprise birthday for you." I walked in and everyone yelled, "Surprise for her ex-boyfriend who shares your birthday." I just smiled, "Happy birthday, man." Then I left calmly as she chased me outside, realizing she'd mixed up the dates. 28 m. Last Saturday evening at precisely 7:30. Used my key to enter my 26F girlfriend's apartment. Earlier that afternoon, she had sent me a text instructing me to come over at that exact time, mentioning a surprise party popper and noting it was her birthday. I naturally assumed she was orchestrating a celebration for me. I unlocked the door to find the lights off, but the moment I stepped inside, they flipped on, and a chorus of "surprise" erupted from about 20 people gathered amidst balloons and a banner loudly proclaiming, "Happy 28th birthday." All eyes, however, were fixed not on me, but on the man standing beside my girlfriend, her ex-boyfriend, who was tall, smiling, and holding her hand. The room plummeted into a dead silence. Her ex was the first to register my presence, offering a hesitant, "Oh, hey man." My girlfriend's face drained of all color as she uttered, "Oh God." I was struck by a sudden, sickening realization. We shared the same birthday, November 2nd. She had mentioned this bizarre coincidence once before, laughing it off as a curious fact. The truth was now undeniable. She had organized a surprise party for her ex-boyfriend on my birthday, at her apartment, at the very hour she had told me to arrive. I walked further into the room, extended my hand to her ex, and said, "Happy birthday, man." He shook it, his expression one of pure confusion. I then turned to my girlfriend, offered a flat, "Nice party," and walked out, hearing the door click shut behind me. I had just made it to my car when the door flew open and she came running out, stumbling in her heels, desperately calling, "Wait, please." Her ex trailed behind her, looking utterly lost. I got into my car and started the engine. She began banging on my window, crying, "I'm so sorry. I got confused. I thought your birthday was next week." I rolled the window down a mere 2 inches and stated, "You threw your ex a birthday party on my birthday after dating me for 18 months. We're done." She pleaded, "No, you can't just..." But I didn't wait to hear the rest. I drove off, my rearview mirror showing her standing frozen in the street as her ex tried to approach her. I arrived home and sat in the dark for about 10 minutes before my phone started blowing up with messages. "Please answer. I made a mistake." And finally, "You're being unreasonable." That last one struck a chord. I was being unreasonable? I blocked her number. Then, a chilling thought occurred to me. She had a key to my place. We had been discussing the possibility of her moving in since my apartment was larger, and she had been gradually leaving more of her belongings here every week. At 11:47 p.m., I called a 24-hour locksmith. "Emergency rekey. Can you come now?" They said they could be there in 90 minutes for $340. "Come now," I confirmed. Starting at 12:30 a.m., I began packing every trace of her. Clothes, toiletries, makeup, shoes, books, everything, into boxes that I stacked in my living room. The locksmith arrived at 1:50 a.m., and by 2:25 a.m., I had new locks on my doors. At 2:30 a.m., I texted her from a Google Voice number, "Your stuff is packed. Pick it up this week or it's getting donated. Your key doesn't work anymore." I then blocked that number and turned off my phone. I slept more soundly than I had in weeks. Update 1. On Sunday morning at 7:15, I was woken by pounding on my door. I opened it to find my now ex-girlfriend and her best friend, both looking as though they hadn't slept. I stood firmly in the doorway. "What?" I asked. "We need to talk," she insisted. "You can't just end things like this." I replied, "I can. I did. Your stuff's in boxes by the door. Take it." Her best friend interjected, "Dude, it was an accident." She got confused. "You're throwing away 18 months over a mistake." I clarified, "She threw her ex-boyfriend a surprise party on my birthday while dating me. That's not a mistake. That's a choice." My ex began to cry. "Please, I love you. We can fix this. I'll make it up to you, I swear." My response was firm. Take your stuff. You have until Friday. She wailed. Where am I supposed to go? I've been staying here half the time. All my stuff is here. I said, not my problem anymore. You can't just kick me out. She protested. You're not on the lease, I stated. Your name's on nothing. Take your stuff or I'm donating it Friday. I then closed the door and locked it. They continued knocking for another 15 minutes before finally leaving. On Monday at 9:30 a.m., my boss called me into his office. I got a strange call this morning, he began. A woman claiming to be your girlfriend's mother said you threw her daughter out on the street and that she's concerned about your mental state. I explained the entire situation, the party, the ex, everything. My boss actually laughed. She called your workplace over a breakup? He said. I told her this isn't a work matter and not to call again. But heads up, she might try again. I thanked him. That Monday evening, I returned home to find scratches all around my new lock. I checked my security camera footage and saw my ex-girlfriend at 4:48 p.m., trying her old key, panicking when it didn't work, and then leaving. On Tuesday morning, I received a text from an unknown number. You need to give me my key back. I replied, that key doesn't work anymore. Come get your stuff. The response was, I can't just move all that stuff. I don't have anywhere to put it. I reiterated, you have until Friday. She threatened, I'm calling the police. You can't steal my belongings. I answered, go ahead. Then explained to them why you tried to break into my apartment yesterday at 4:48 p.m. There was no further response. On Wednesday evening at 6:15, there was a knock at my door. 2 police officers stood there. Sir, we got a call about a domestic situation. Your girlfriend says you're holding her belongings hostage. I showed them the text exchange, explained the breakup and the Friday deadline, and showed them the security footage of her attempting to use her old key. Her stuff is right here in boxes, I said. She has a key that doesn't work anymore because she kept trying to enter without permission after we broke up. I gave her until Friday to get it. The officers examined the boxes. One of them spoke into his radio. Ma'am, your belongings are here, packed and ready. You have until Friday to collect them. That's generous. We can't force anything else. We could hear screeching through the radio. The older officer added, Ma'am, if you don't collect your belongings by Friday, he has the right to dispose of them. That's the law. After they left, my phone rang. It was her mother. I don't know how she got my number. How dare you call the police on my daughter? She shouted. I didn't call anyone, I said. She did. You're destroying her. She has nowhere to go. You owe her, I replied. I don't owe her anything. We broke up. She needs to get her stuff. She doesn't have anywhere to put it, her mother cried. She's been living with you. I corrected her. She was staying here sometimes. She has her own apartment. She needs to take her stuff there. Her mother then delivered a bombshell. Her lease is up. She gave notice because you two were moving in together. That stopped me. What? I never said that. You've been talking about it for months, she insisted. Talking about it and agreeing to it are different things, I said. Not my problem. She has until Friday. I hung up and blocked that number. On Thursday morning, I discovered the full extent of her actions. Her ex-boyfriend called me. He'd gotten my number from a mutual friend. Hey man, I need to tell you something, he began. She's telling everyone you kicked her out with no warning and kept all her stuff. I said, that's not true. I know, he replied. I was there that night. I heard what happened. But she's saying you're abusive, that you isolated her from friends, made her dependent on you, then kicked her out the second she did something you didn't like. I reminded him, she threw you a birthday party while dating me. Yeah, he said. And she told me she'd broken up with you 2 weeks before that. Said she wanted to reconnect with me. I had no idea you two were still together until you walked in that door. My blood ran cold. She said what? I asked. She told me she was single, that she'd ended things with her boyfriend and wanted to try again with me. We'd been hanging out for like 3 weeks before the party. Nothing physical, but definitely moving in that direction. When I saw your face at that party, I knew immediately she'd been lying. That's why I left right after you did. I wanted nothing to do with it. I thanked him for telling me. He added, one more thing. She's been texting me nonstop saying you ruined everything. That if I just go along with her story about you being abusive, we could be together. I'm not responding. Just wanted you to know what she's doing. I told him I appreciated it. Thursday afternoon brought a new problem. A text from my building management. Received complaint about noise and disturbances from your unit. Please contact office. I called immediately. What's this about? I asked. We received an anonymous call claiming there's been yelling and fighting from your apartment last night around 11 p.m. They said. I was asleep by 10:30 alone, I stated. This is a harassment call from my ex-girlfriend. Can you prove that? They asked. Check your entry logs. I came home at 6:20 p.m. and didn't leave. No one came in or out. They checked. You're right, they conceded. We'll note this. If we get more complaints, we'll know they're false. On Friday at 9 a.m., her mother and best friend showed up. Her mother had rented a U-Haul. I let them in. The boxes were still by the door. Her mother immediately launched into a tirade. This is cruel. My daughter is homeless because of you. I responded, she's homeless because she gave notice on her apartment without confirming she could move in here. That was her choice. You led her on, the mother accused. I said we'd talk about moving in together. We talked. I never agreed. She made assumptions. They began loading the boxes. Her mother maintained a steady commentary about how terrible I was, how her daughter deserved better, and how I had destroyed her life over nothing. I stood in silence until they were finished. As they were leaving, her mother turned back. You're going to regret this. She's getting a lawyer. You're going to pay for what you've done. I replied, tell her lawyer to call mine. You don't have a lawyer, she spat. I will if I need one, I said. Have a good day. They left. On Saturday afternoon, it arrived. A certified letter from a law office demanding $10,300. $3, $400 for forced relocation costs, $2,100 for storage fees, and $4,800 for emotional distress. The letter claimed I had verbally agreed to let her move in, that she had relied on this agreement by ending her lease, and that I had maliciously broken this agreement, causing her irreparable harm. I called a lawyer my coworker recommended and explained everything. He laughed. Verbal agreements need proof. She ended her lease based on assumptions. That's not your liability. And emotional distress? Please, I'll draft a response. His response letter was beautiful. It stated, your client ended her own lease without confirming housing arrangements. My client never agreed to cohabitation. The relationship ended when your client threw a birthday party for her ex-boyfriend on my client's birthday while actively lying to said ex-boyfriend about her relationship status. My client gave your client ample time to collect belongings. Your claims are baseless. Cease all contact or we pursue harassment charges. It was sent Monday morning. Update 2. On Monday afternoon, her lawyer called my lawyer. Can we negotiate? My lawyer relayed. My lawyer's response was, no. Your client has no case. Their lawyer said, she's willing to drop emotional distress if he pays relocation costs. My lawyer replied, my client paid nothing toward her housing, never agreed to let her move in, and gave her a week to collect her belongings. Final answer is no. They hung up. On Tuesday evening, I was at the grocery store when someone grabbed my cart. It was her best friend. We need to talk, she demanded. No, we don't, I said. She's living with her parents in her childhood bedroom because of you, she hissed. Because she ended her lease without confirming she had somewhere else to live. I corrected. You promised her, she accused. I did no such thing. Move. You're a horrible person, she yelled. I walked away. She followed me through 3 aisles, yelling about what a monster I was until store security escorted her out. On Wednesday, things escalated further. Someone filed a police report claiming I had stolen $2,800 worth of electronics from my ex-girlfriend's apartment. 2 detectives showed up at my place. "We need to ask you about some missing property," they said. "What property?" I asked. "A laptop, tablet, and camera equipment. Your ex-girlfriend claims you took them from her apartment after your breakup." I stated, "I've never been to her apartment. She was staying at my place sometimes. All her stuff that was here, I packed and she picked up. I have security footage of her collecting everything." "Can we see that footage?" they asked. I showed them the time-stamped video of her mother and friend loading boxes into a U-Haul. "Did she claim anything was missing when she picked this up?" they inquired. "No," I said. "She took everything. They told me, we'll follow up with her. If this is a false report, there will be consequences." They left. I immediately called my lawyer. "She just filed a false police report," he said. "Document everything. This helps us." On Thursday morning, a new tactic emerged. She showed up at my office building. Security called me. "There's a woman in the lobby asking for you. Says it's urgent." "Don't let her up," I said. "I'll be right down." I went to the lobby. She was there with her mother. "We need to talk," my ex started. "No," I said. "The police came to my parents' house claiming I filed a false report because of you," she cried. "I didn't. I'm missing stuff," I replied. "Everything you had here is what you picked up. If stuff is missing, you forgot to bring it to my place. Not my problem." Her mother stepped forward. "You're harassing my daughter. First you get her evicted, then you call the police on her." I stated, "I didn't get her evicted. She ended her own lease. And I didn't call the police. She filed a false report claiming I stole from her. So they investigated and found she lied." Security was watching closely now. One guard moved closer. "Ma'am, you need to lower your voice," he said. My ex started crying. "Please, I have nowhere to go. I lost my apartment because of you. Just let me stay with you until I find something." "No," I said. "Where am I supposed to go?" she wailed. "Figure it out," I replied. "I hate you," she screamed. "Good," I said. I turned to security. "Please escort them out." They were removed. I went back upstairs. 20 minutes later, my boss called me in. "Your ex-girlfriend's mother just called me again. Said you're terrorizing her daughter." I explained. "She showed up at my workplace. I had security remove her." "I know," he said. "Security informed me. I told the mother if she calls again, we're filing harassment charges." "You're fine. Just document everything." On Friday evening, her ex-boyfriend texted me again. "Heads up. She's telling everyone you got her evicted from her apartment, and the police are investigating you for theft." I replied, "Neither of those things is true." "I know," he said, "but it's spreading. Thought you should know." I thanked him. On Saturday, I ran into a mutual friend at a coffee shop, someone I'd known before dating her. "Dude, what's going on?" he asked. "She's saying you're facing criminal charges." I explained. "She filed a false police report claiming I stole from her. Police investigated, found she lied. Closed the case. She's spreading lies." "That's what I figured," he said. "Her story didn't make sense. Most people aren't buying it." "Good," I said. On Sunday evening at 2:15 a.m., a brick came through my window. The police came, but there were no witnesses and no camera coverage of that angle. On Monday morning, I found my car had abuser keyed into the driver's side door, causing $1,900 in damage. Building security footage showed someone in a hoodie at 3:30 a.m., but the face was obscured. On Tuesday, I received a new text from an unknown number. "Stop ruining my life or this gets worse." I took a screenshot and sent it to my lawyer, then filed another police report. On Wednesday morning, we had a court hearing. She had requested a restraining order against me, claiming I was harassing her, stalking her, and threatening her. I showed up with my lawyer. She was there with hers and her mother. The judge read her petition. "You claim the defendant is stalking you." "Yes, Your Honor," she said. "He shows up places I am. He's trying to intimidate me." The judge asked, "Do you have evidence of this?" He was at the grocery store when I was there. That's a public place, the judge noted. Anything else? He got me evicted from my apartment. How'd he do that? The judge inquired. I was going to move in with him and he backed out, so I lost my place. The judge looked at me. Did you agree to let her move in? No, Your Honor, I said. She ended her own lease, assuming I'd agreed. I hadn't. The judge looked at her. So, you made a housing decision without confirming arrangements. He led me on, she cried. Do you have evidence of an agreement? Texts, emails, a signed lease? The judge asked. We talked about it, she said weakly. Talking about something isn't an agreement, the judge stated. He flipped through the papers. You also filed a police report claiming he stole property. He did, she insisted. According to the detective's report, the judge said, all your belongings were accounted for and you collected them. The case was closed as unfounded. Her face went red. The judge looked at me. Do you have anything to add? My lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client has been continuously harassed by the petitioner. She's called his workplace multiple times, showed up at his office, filed a false police report. His car was vandalized last week. He received threatening texts. We have documentation of everything. The judge reviewed the evidence, security footage, police reports, text screenshots, work incident reports. Ma'am, he said, I'm denying your petition. Furthermore, I'm granting a restraining order in favor of the defendant. You are to stay 100 yards away from him, his residence, and his workplace. No contact, direct or indirect. Violation will result in arrest. Do you understand? She was crying. This isn't fair. Do you understand? The judge repeated firmly. Yes, she whispered. Court is adjourned. Outside the courthouse, her mother screamed at me across the parking lot. You're destroying her. My lawyer stepped between us. Ma'am, you're witnessing this. Don't. They left. Final update. It has now been 5 weeks since the party. Here is where everything stands. Regarding my keyed car, insurance covered the damage after I filed the police report. They are still investigating the vandalism, but there are no leads yet. I have installed more security cameras. The restraining order was violated by her just 8 days after it was issued. She showed up at my apartment building, security called the police, and she was arrested. She spent a night in jail, received probation, and the restraining order was extended to 2 years. Her housing situation remains unchanged. She is still living with her parents. According to mutual friends, it is not going well. Her mother is reportedly furious about the legal fees and the failed restraining order. Regarding her job in marketing, word got around her office about the false police report and her arrest for violating the restraining order. Apparently, HR had a conversation with her about her behavior affecting the company's reputation. Her ex-boyfriend wants nothing to do with her. She tried contacting him multiple times, but he has blocked her everywhere and told people she lied to him about being single. Most of her friends have figured out the truth. The party guests saw what happened. Her ex confirmed she had lied about breaking up with me, and the false police report sealed it. She has lost most of her friend group. Her lawyer dropped her as a client after the restraining order hearing, realizing she had lied to him about multiple things and wanting no part of it. The mutual friend group has split, with most people who knew me before siding with me, and those who only knew her initially believing her before switching sides as the evidence emerged. As for me, I am doing fine. I got my car fixed, installed additional security cameras, and am living alone peacefully without drama. I have started seeing someone new, whom I met through a friend. Our third date is this weekend. When I told her about the birthday party situation, her response was, "Wait, she threw her ex a party on your birthday? What an idiot." It was the best reaction I've gotten. What I learned from all of this is that walking out of that party without making a scene was not a sign of weakness. It was the smartest move I could have made. There was no yelling, no dramatics. I simply left and let the situation speak for itself. Everyone at that party witnessed what happened. They watched me handshake her ex, wish him a happy birthday, and leave calmly. They figured it out immediately. Half of them left within an hour. Her subsequent attempts to spin the narrative, portraying me as abusive or controlling, fell apart because 20 witnesses saw the actual situation. The restraining order she filed against me backfired spectacularly, giving me a platform to present all the evidence of her harassment. The judge saw right through it. Her biggest mistake was not throwing the party. It was doubling down afterward. The false police report, the workplace harassment, the vandalism, the restraining order attempt, each action made her situation progressively worse. Had she simply accepted the breakup and moved on, she would be fine. Instead, she has a criminal record, has lost friends, faces legal fees, and is subject to a 2-year restraining order keeping her away from me. 3 weeks ago, I walked into a surprise birthday party for someone else. Today, she is the one surprised by how drastically her life has spiraled from that one night. Happy belated birthday to me. I received the best gift possible. Freedom from someone who did not value me enough to remember my birthday while she was planning a celebration for her ex.